Hello, my name's Louise Frampton. I'm the editor of Clinical Services Journal, and I'm reporting from EBME Expo today, and I'm joined by Ben Farrar from Traka.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
What are you doing at the show and what are you highlighting?
So this is our second year at the EBME event.
Right.
We're attending again after our growth into the EBME marketplace. We are highlighting our equipment management library locker solutions. So we see many manufacturers of healthcare equipment at the show. We're engaging with them and we're engaging with the end users about methods of managing access to these incredibly important assets, high value assets, and vending the applications from our intelligent locker solutions.
Right. Why is it so important to the NHS?
Generally speaking, every trust has some issues with ownership of devices, availability of devices, and managing locations and use of the devices themselves. So we understand that we're part of the whole circle asset management application. Where the device starts its day, where it starts its journey, is something that Traka can manage, take care of. We make sure that only fully trained users have access to devices, and then that device is away from Traka and goes into the world of the hospital. In those instances, we're working closely with our partners that have RTLS solutions, perhaps CMMS solutions that are tracking the location of the devices, who the devices are being used on, and any calibration and cleaning requirements that those devices may have when they get returned into a Traka application.
So aside from obviously tracking the asset, what are some of the benefits really from an EBME perspective in terms of ensuring patient safety, in terms of efficiency? What are some of the benefits that NHS Trust can realise?
Sure.
From that?
So from a patient safety point of view, we can, with our powerful software that's integrated into other applications as well, we can make sure that only fully trained staff are gaining access to particular pieces of equipment to make sure they're fully trained before anybody is using it. We can also make sure that the devices that are being issued from a Traka solution are clean and calibrated and are not being issued before that takes place. Can you just repeat the first part of that question? You mentioned efficiencies, but also
patient safety.
Patient safety,
obviously,
yeah.
in terms of keeping things maintained and having a track record of that, it's
Sure.
really important, isn't it, from an
Yeah.
EBME perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So covering that point on my previous answer, but going into efficiencies, where are these devices kept? Are they at one central location in a hospital? Are staff having to travel hundreds of meters, spending 20 minutes, half an hour, actually walking between wards or walking to a central location where these devices are being managed? Traka can have their locker solutions at strategic locations around a hospital, perhaps on the ward or shared location between 2 or 3 wards. So people can check a piece of software, check where the closest asset is, and walk a very short distance to collect that asset. And then we're sending a record that asset has gone out and it needs to be restocked in that location.
So there's been a lot of talk about the 10-year plan, and we're hoping that will come out soon. So what would you hope to see in that from an EBME perspective? What do you think would be really important?
Yeah, so people with a much closer grip on the 10-year plan and new hospital developments, new hospital program developments, are telling us that there's a real focus on maximising patient space and perhaps reducing non-clinical space.
Right.
So there's they're looking at operational areas, they're looking at hospital library locations. Now, spreading the equipment to where it needs to be used, close to where it needs to be used, does have the potential to reduce the size of the footprint of the hospital library itself. So we're talking to new hospital programs about the potential for these strategic locations for our assets, efficiencies, patient safety, all included in this envelope of the solution, and continuing to work with the innovations that are coming in with RTLS, location services, and the conditions of assets.
Fantastic. Ben, thank you so much for giving up your time today.
No, it's a great pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very
Great
much.
to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.